where you just, put your ticket in what you think you want. So we're going to start that at the beginning of the ride. When registration opens, the raffles will be set up. We'll have staffing for the raffle table, $20, as I said, for 25 chances. When the ride comes back, we'll continue to sell raffles, and we'll probably pull them later on, around about maybe 4:30, depending on the crowd. And what Alan has done is he has this big sheet, and we write the winner's ticket number. On that sheet, they can come to the tent and see if they won their raffle, and they give us their ticket.
You said Chinese. That's kind of racist. I mean, Ricky's next door neighbor's aunt's Chinese.
One of the things that I also want to do this year, I'm going to work on, is I'm going to try to set up a text messaging or SMS messaging system where we can blast out a text message to all of the participants. We collect their phone number in the registration. I want to be able to send out a blast that says, hey, raffle will be drawn at 4 o'clock. Here are the winning numbers. Or raffle will be at 4 o'clock. And then after the raffle, here are the winning numbers. So, or, hey, the route changed. We're going to Staten Island instead.
All right.
We were following Volleyball. Volleyball was leading the ride, and they had to go back, and everybody followed them. Right? So one of the things that we want to do is that if anybody has any connections with a service that can do that for us, let me know. Otherwise, we may have to pay for that.
We also have 50/50.
Right. And these raffles raise a lot of money, so.
So even with the rain last year, 50/50 was about 100. The person got about $160.
50/50 raffle could raise, close $1,000 if the right number of people show up. And then merchandise. Merchandise. PJ, merch.
Yeah. So for last year we purchased shirts. Got a donation. Purchased X amount of dollars worth of t-shirts. A lot of you guys have them. If you don't have it or know of the shirt, it's 9/11 Ride shirt. It had the sponsorship on the arm that said Motorcycle Mike and support NYC Punctures in the back. We still have a lot of merchandise to sell. We'll do it online with PayPal if people want to buy some shirts, or locally. We're going to set up we're going to have a table set up near the raffle section, near the coin section, because we want to draw people towards the sales. The first year it was we sold stuff like hotcakes. The second year we put the shirts near where you picked up the coin. Excellent. People coming to pick up their coin, they saw the shirts. Everybody bought a t-shirt. So we're going to keep that the same way this year as well.
Anybody have any connections with making corrugated signs? The corrugated plastic signs with the printing on it? Let me know. We need to make a lot of signs that say like raffles and coin pickup and registration and cash. So if you know anybody that has the ability to do that, let me know.
Discount.
Discount. Free. One of the other things that I'm working on is putting together a list of needs. Things that we need for the ride, and we're going to blast it out on social media and an email, so that you never know. You put out, hey, we need help making signs. Maybe there's a local company that's willing to donate their service to to us. So if you don't ask, you'll never get. All right, parking. So let's see. Jack, you want to talk about parking?
It sucks.
That's why you're in charge of it.
No, so last year we tried something a little different, where we mixed and matched. This year we're gonna have the a VIP parking where for pre-registration, and then everybody else is gonna be back together. We're not gonna separate the clubs from the regular riders. That makes no sense. So we're gonna keep everybody together. There's gonna be a place for all the emergency vehicles. There's gonna be a place for the classic cars, and be a place for the motorcycles, and of course, everybody wants to be up front. And PJ said I could go here, PJ said I could do this, PJ said, everybody knows PJ, so whoever's going to be helping me with the parking pretty much has to stand your ground and be like, no, you're going to have to be here. We have a big issue with people who, of course, they ride together, and then there's people that go, they race to the front, and they're half an hour early before their 15 other friends, and they expect that you're gonna hold 15 spots for them. It's not gonna happen. You know, they're gonna have to wait on the side somewhere, and unfortunately, now they're gonna be wherever they're gonna be. You know, we're not gonna be. It's impossible to hold 30 spots because one person comes and says, "I got 30 guys coming." So that's about it.
It's very possible that if we don't get aviation, we can maybe make this a waiting area for people to sit and wait for their people.
There's plenty of space for people to wait on the side, you know, before they go into the lines. A big issue happened last year, was my fault. I take responsibility for it because I jumped on the ride to take videos. No one knew which side was going to go first, so we went together. You know, it's a good thing it was raining and we didn't have that many people, or else it would have been a disaster. This year, I think I'm gonna use tape. So we're gonna use, the long cones, the tall cones with tape, and I'm gonna stay to the end of the ride, and I'm gonna direct everybody which side goes first, or in second and third, and then I'll catch up if highway allows me.
PJ Lane.
Any questions? Any questions about parking? Okay, so the route. Thank you. Thank you. All right, here you go. You didn't need to do that. Thank you. Okay. So the route, they're responsible for the physical route, the actual streets that we take, including blocking. Now, the first couple of years, we actually had a crew of blockers, guys that on their bikes would go ahead and help highway. Highway doesn't really like that. They don't want help. Even though they need it, they really don't want it. So we'll have people that will be that could help if need be, including emergency vehicles. But we also have a whole roadside assistance crew, all the tow trucks. Their purpose is if a bike goes down or breaks or whatever, someone needs to help them. We'll have tow trucks that, flatbeds that can pick up the bike, or just help. I think one bike ran out of gas or something, and somebody had to bring them gas. Any questions about the route?
D-Star.
I'm sorry?
They said it was a red D-Star.
Marketing. So, big thing with getting this event out there is how do we market it? So, we have a whole social media platform. PJ is really good at blasting things on Facebook, even though he's in Facebook jail now. But we have a social media platform. We have print and digital advertising, and that's this type of thing. We made 10,000 of these little flyers. We'll make more if we have to. Anything digital, email. We have the ability to put a message on, in some of the bus stops, they have a digital board. Forest Hills Ambulance gets our name up there. I don't know how often, but we have that. Maybe we put the right up there. If anybody has an outlet, radio, TV, anywhere, let me know because we want to get this information out. Banners like this. Any banners, we have 4 banners that are this size that we're going to use to take to events. PJ and I have already started, and actually a bunch of people, we started with an EMS show. We went to it and we marketed the event at an EMS show. PJ and I have it on our calendar to go to a lot of these rides that are coming up. And the idea is we're going to hand out flyers, we're going to bring the banners and put up the banners. PJ also set up, we purchased the TV, and PJ built a bracket to hold on like a big speaker stand. So when we go to an event, we can set up a table with the banner and flyers and have a TV running the actual video of the rides. You've all seen the videos on YouTube, either YouTube or Facebook. We have that going at the event so that it draws a crowd, it draws attention. Anybody that hasn't been to the ride, they don't, you try to tell them about it, but they can't vision what this ride is. But when they see hundreds and hundreds and thousands of bikes and people going in a straight line through 42nd Street, it's impressive. and I could see it in people's eyes. It triggers like a light bulb. Like, wow, I want to be part of that. So we have that set up. And then photography. PJ is big with hiring photographers and getting them in strategic points. What else do we need? We need, if you know a company, a business, somebody who lives in a strategic location like overlooking 42nd Street or overlooking the 59th Street Bridge, someplace where we could put a photographer or somebody with a video camera that can get a good view, a good shot of the ride, let PJ know, because we'll send someone there. Now, if you know some photographers, anybody that we can get who would like to come and donate their time, we'll set them up with a place. This nut, last week was trying to bid on a Skywatch. Like the NYPD has those little things, that little cubicle on a
Towers.
right? He bid on one to try to get one, and with the idea, or maybe we'll put this on 42nd Street, so that somebody can get up high and take video.
I put it all in.
Scissor lift. I thought even better, we'll get one of the volunteer fire departments to sit on 42nd Street, and we'll go up in there either on their ladder or their bucket truck or something, or the top of a fire truck. It's perfect, it's high. So we have to think outside the box, yes.
As much as I hate them, do we have any restrictions on drone usage?
Yes, we do. You can't use a drone on 42nd Street. We tried. So, but
How much trouble do we get into if there's a mercenary
I'll fast
in
you
here?
right away.
well, we probably won't get in much trouble. We probably won't get in much trouble, but like I said before, it's all about public perception.
Right.
So the last thing we want is for there to be a news article about how we caused a huge scare by having a drone flying around 42nd Street. Could we get away with it? Is everybody get arrested? Nobody's get locked up. But I don't want the bad publicity associated with it.
We
So
had a
if we're,
drone on 42nd Street. It was very small. That one shot that I always continuously run with the ambulance pulling away and then the cars behind it, the drone was like this big. And that was the money shot for me. So we can talk.
Happens, I know a guy that
We
goes back and forth from Puerto Rico and New
We
York
can
that
talk
runs
about
long range drones.
absolutely we'll talk about it.
yeah. I think, maybe we don't do it on 42nd Street. We do it someplace less restrictive. There's
I thought it's more like everywhere.
okay. You like follow the ride?
Yeah, that's one thing, long range.
Excellent. Yeah, and we have enough time now that we might even be able to get a permit to do it if we needed to.
FCC.
FAA.
FAA. That's it.
Once you get into the city, you need
Okay, cool. Anything on marketing? All right, the ceremony. So Ben Betancourt, is Ben here?
He walked out.
All right. So Ben has agreed. One of the things that we really had to get down on is the actual program of the event, mostly before the ride. So we have a nice stage, we have bands, we have speeches, we have all sorts of things. Like I said earlier, PJ and I, we can't have our hands in everything because we're doing everything. We can't be responsible for little, the little aspects of every issue. So, program is a big thing.
If I may, just to give you a huge example of what happened last year. Highway came in, said no tape on the plates. I don't know if there's other people that know. No tape on the plates. All the cameras are down throughout the whole city. I brought that to Alan. Same response that I gave, he gave. It ate up 45 minutes to try to make sure that that was confirmed. Somebody that was a bigger chief than me and him there, that there was going to be no summonses issued to people along the ride. And it was confirmed that no summonses were going to be issued along the ride. But it ate up 45 minutes out of 5 hours getting that event right before the program. Just to give you guys a little piece of information if you weren't aware of that.
So we need to have people in place to handle all this. We need a program director. So Ben is going to be the program director of the event. Now, we have the ceremony. So the ceremony includes the Marine Corps League doing the ringing of the bell and
Jane DaCosta, Marie Corley of Brooklyn, I know you're watching right now. We thank you for the service and being involved again this year.
So that's a major component of the program. One thing that we're adding this year is recognition. So where we can't recognize everybody with a formal plaque or you know, a thank you, we appreciate what everybody contributes to the event. But we will have some formal recognition, especially for sponsors. The Port Authority, New York, New Jersey, for giving us the space, the NYPD, you know, all the different entities that make this event happen. And then, of course, the stage, the physical stage. Making sure the stage is there, set up, has power, has audio, has you know, has a generator, things like that. That's the stage. And that's all of the departments. Any questions about program? Okay. Anybody have any questions at all about anything that we've discussed today?
Or input. This is what I like to see. All right, a couple things. If at any point anybody says that anybody has any kind of assistance purposes that you think that you know somebody that can help us with something anywhere related to this, contact me or Alan through the email, text message, phone call. It's very easy to find us. We placed a banner on the bridge outside. Anybody have any ideas where we could place another banner anywhere that you think would get seen? Does anybody have an area on a building that somebody knows, or a work site or a job site with a high fence or some high traffic area where we can put a banner with an okay? That would be also helpful. Stephen from Forest Hills and Glendale, how can I help you?
Yeah, you can put a banner. You can put a banner on my store. It's on Myrtle.
On Myrtle?
Yes, that's a
Very
very
cool.
high.
We'll definitely talk about that. Thank you.
Yes.
If anyone knows anyone that can help us with any kind of donations like flyers, I like to give people stacks of flyers. But Alan doesn't want to do that because Alan then says we need more flyers and that costs money. Anybody has any access, if you work in a building or an administration that can print flyers for free for us, I can give you the PDF and send it directly. That's huge because I can dump flyers everywhere I can go, anywhere we can go. Inside a motorcycle shop. There's people here that go travel Long Island, travel to the island of Staten, that travel to Connecticut, that travel to Jersey. That I can't do it. Alan can't do it. John is only so many miles to put on his bike to get around to drop flyers with Fred, and it all comes into the same area of trying to growth, getting the event bigger. The one thing that I've been told for the past few years is, I say me, PJ. This event is your event too. You're sitting in this room, you're part of this event. You're a part of this event. You could say, yeah, I run this event with Forest Hills. Yeah, this is what I do. This is why we brought the organizational chart up. That's why we're here today, sitting in this room. It means a lot. When you tell somebody, yeah, I'm part of that. I'm part of the 9/11 Memorial Ride. I run registration. Yeah, I do. What do you do? It means a lot. So, being here, I can't stress it enough. It's not PJ's ride. I like hearing it, but at the same time, it's not right to hear it. It's everyone's event. It's my ride, I'm only kidding. Anybody want to input on vendors, day of? Anybody want to input on the bathrooms where we put up the porta potties, day of? Eric, where are you? You are the porta potty king. Eric, how were the porta potty placements?
Last year they were great. The year before we didn't have enough. But last year I think we
We
doubled
had
it.
21, and two of them wheelchair accessible. Four? You're right, yeah, okay. Anybody have any issue where they were placed? I remember when we returned, there was guys running in to use them. Think we should position any of them anywhere else here? Or we think we're good, guys? You think we're good? Stephanie, you've done so much today, thank you.
PJ, any chance we can get one up where the cars enter?
Guys, just turn the volume up a little more, I'm deaf.
Up where the cars are gonna enter?
Yeah.
Last year there was nothing, it was hard to get anybody to.
Where?
Registration?
Top of the entrance to the
Oh.
first come in.
You think there should be one all the way up here?
Yeah, we had people standing there, like,
Okay, so-
guiding the people in, knowing
Here-
when to
here-
go to the
Oh,
bathroom.
you mean-
Hold on, here's the answer to that. The bathroom is right there.
Oh, yeah, no, it's right there.
Yeah,
Right.
but,
There.
yeah, then you're
There's
leaving
10
that,
bathrooms
but
right
then
there.
you're leaving that position open, because there was nobody to fill in for them last year.
So that's gonna be so one of the problems that we had in the past is people not realizing that in order for them to leave their position, they need relief. So, one of the general rules that everyone needs to abide by is, if you need to leave, you gotta call your next person up, and they will get you somebody to relieve you. That's how it's supposed to happen.
And this year,
Well,
since
every
we have the
business
radio,
must have
Right.
floater.
So
everybody's gonna have their own bank, like registration will be on channel 1 and vendors will be on channel 2, so.
So if you're the parking guy at the front, first of all, you shouldn't be there by yourself to begin with. There should be at least two to begin. And if one of you needs to walk away to go to the bathroom or whatever, if there's another person there, you can. If not, you get on the radio, you call your chief or whoever, say you need a break, and they should send you
That's
somebody.
not what happened at all. 'Cause I
No,
was-
No, I
because
know
this was new to us last
I
year.
know that.
Because I was actually calling over the radio multiple times, and it was.
All right, see, this is
guaranteed to say
why-
a word.
This is why we're here. That's something new to us. We have, this is why we're having the meetings, to try to
Just
figure this
left it
out.
alone. I don't wanna-
And again, no matter how much you organize, I've been trying to get my guys to the stage for a photo since the first event, and I can't. I can't. Jack can't even pee. He can't stay there. I told him, get a bottle. I don't care if you get a bottle. Bike's gotta get parked.
Peeing wasn't a
But
problem.
this
Well,
is what
first-
happens. We say we get commitments.
last year.
I know in this room who's showing up. All right? There might not be anybody else, but we're here trying to work on this. And I get it. And I appreciate that all you guys did. But again, there's
And
only
one of
so much you can do with
And
your
one, of
hands.
the, and one of the other things that's gonna help solve that problem is we plan on having meetings like this every other month. So as we're getting closer to the event, we're gonna be more organized, because when you come up with and say, hey, this is a problem, and we didn't realize it was a problem, we'll be able to fix it before it even happens.
We're 6 months ahead. Eric.
Do you have an alcohol sponsor for the meetings?
Yeah, AA, whatever they are. Guys, we really got through this meeting pretty quick. We started late, a little bit after 15, maybe 20 after 1. An hour and 35 minutes. An hour and 45 minutes, and we got all through this. Really impressive. Very impressive for a first meeting. Is there anything that we didn't do? People that were here at the event, is there anything that we missed?
Any other problems that occurred
Occurred,
last
no
year
doubt.
that we're not aware of that we need to fix?
Weather.
Midway traffic control. You've got guys on parking, you've got guys on registration, but people get confused if there's not a steady stream.
Oh, when they were coming into registration.
So one of the things we're gonna do this
I
year.
actually went through the barricades with my group.
Yeah.
So, one of the things that we're gonna do this year to alleviate that problem is, and I've asked to double the amount of barricades, metal barricades, and I've asked for like 300 traffic cones. So when people come in through registration,
People are
they,
stupid, you need bodies.
no,
Their arms going like
but to alleviate it, what's gonna happen is, when you come to registration, there will be lanes that you have to follow. So, there'll be people to direct the people. If you're a priority parker, you're gonna get into a chute, and you will not be able to leave that chute. You can only go to where you're supposed to go. If you're supposed to go to regular parking, you'll only be able to go to regular parking. You would have to physically get off of your bike, move the barrier, break it, and then go wherever.
Which they've done.
Of the registration to correct it for this year compared to previous years. I will make that standpoint in this conversation. It will definitely be very hard to break out of it.
Good.
What other problems that we're not aware of or need to fix?
Did anybody see anything that was a problem? And if you don't want to discuss it here in open forum, we can talk after the meeting.
We need somebody on the outside before registration just keep an eye open. Because
Oh, with the other registration guy?
Yeah.
Eric, you handled that, right?
Flip-flops.
I didn't hear the
What
question.
happened with the other registration guy last year?
The guy who was selling pre-registration tickets.
Did you deal with
he
him?
was
Yeah,
scalping
he
him.
did. Yeah.
The guy that was scalping?
Everybody knows this is
Yeah,
the
you
things
have
we
to
gotta
tell
deal
them
with
the
in the
story.
event.
You gotta,
You gotta
that
tell
actually
the
makes
story.
me feel good that we actually have scalpers at our event. We've hit the big time.
We surrounded him pretty good. It was all right.
Alright, so I'm gonna just touch about social media for those that are here. As the event nears, myself, I have a formula for this. It's a great formula, and it works. As the event nears, as it gets closer, yeah, we still didn't even hit spring yet, right? It was spring today? It's
Next week.
The 20th. We didn't even hit spring yet. We still got a whole summer to go. But again, early planning. If you have social media, change your profile picture to the flyer if you'd like. You have no idea what that does. Anybody that sees a post that likes something, it comes up on my feed that Alan liked Jack's posting. I see it on my feed with two of the same pictures. It's gonna be intriguing to wonder, what is that picture? Like, what is that? What am I looking at? Why do I see this flyer everywhere? Makes people go to it. When you're posting, tag friends in it, even if they're not going. Tag them. Because they're going to get a notification of, why is Fred tagging me in the, what the hell is this? I want to ride a motorcycle. Oh, but I like Fred. Oh, there's a cat there. Oh, you know what? Let me repost it. Guess what? That person might know somebody that rides a motorcycle or has an emergency vehicle, access to an emergency vehicle agency, or an emergency agency that wants to be involved. We're hitting people in Texas, California, Canada. We had riders come from Canada. We had riders come up from New Mexico. We had people riding from Mexico. I think 2 guys showed up from Mexico.
And one guy from Germany.
Yeah. It's the littlest thing that connects people. Social media is what made this event. Without social media, this event would not be what it is. At night, scalping people off of other events. Anybody that follows me, do you see the Indian Larry two events I put up? One of them says 1,000 people are interested. One of them says 700 people are interested. That's more people that I didn't have before that I can go and grab them off the page. So, in the future, in time, we have 6 months to go. When we get closer, if you'd like to change your profile picture, if you want to post it, tag people when you post. Tag anybody. Tag the Hells Angels if you want. Tag the Grateful Dead. Tag people in prison. Tag people. This event is for everybody. Everybody's welcome to join us.
And by the way, on the flyer and on the banners, these QR codes actually work. So if you turn on your camera and you click it, it'll bring you to the registration page. So I learned you have to be really careful when you print out stuff. Like if I send you the flyer and email and you print it out, not always will that QR code work, because if it's not clear enough, it may not work. But all of the flyers that we make, they work. What else?
I think we discussed it at the end of last year's ride. Everybody wants to be up front. Somehow last year, the tow trucks and flatbeds got up front, and we had a few bikes break down. Backtracking on the ride takes an act of God. So if 2 or 3 tow trucks could truly stay at the end, maybe designate them, it'll help us.
What happened was, they were supposed to go out first to block. And the city and the NYPD didn't utilize them. They didn't want to use any of the vehicles.
Right.
The first year they went out in the back. The second year we sent them all out first. Because they staged and they got to the back of the ride. So it was able to alleviate all the other blocking. We got the city with a problem. The city's where the problem is. My whole thing is to have them block all the way up down to the FDR, catch back up on the West Side Highway, shut down 42nd Street all the way to 2nd where we could have no hiccups. But it just didn't work out.
Maybe we could just designate 2 guys, maybe a flatbed and a wrecker,
Absolutely.
just
So,
there.
so that's a good. I like your thought about something. That's a good point. With the structure that we have, it's like an incident command structure. So, you have an issue with roadside assistance. You should direct that to the chief of the, when we decide who the people are. That would be a question or something that you would direct to this guy, and then this guy would make sure that his people do that. If you're the route guy and you have an issue with parking, let's say someone brings up the idea, hey, we need to have tow trucks in the beginning, in the middle, and in the end. You're gonna have to go to the parking guy and say, hey, Jack, I need to be able to park these trucks, strategically so that they can leave in this order. And then together, you two work it out. That's how an ICS works, or an incident command system works. So, when we have people in place, when these issues come up, of course you can bring all your issues to me and PJ and we'll disseminate it down, but you can also bring it to the people that are responsible for it so that it's handled on their level. There was a problem where you didn't have enough staff at the parking gate, right? So, we would determine beforehand, do you work for parking or do you work for registration? Well, you guys, for that purpose, would work for parking. So, you would tell Jack, hey Jack, last year, I was the only one at the gate, and when I had to go to the bathroom, I couldn't get relief. Jack will solve that problem by either assigning 2 people or have a floater who has a radio and can respond, either to that station or some other station. That's how this is going to work. The reason why some of the things failed is because we didn't have this system in place. And PJ and I were trying to handle everything, and we just can't. There's just too much for us to handle. So with this organization in place, things should run a lot easier and a lot more smoothly.
It doesn't.
No, it will. What other concerns or issues can we address? Come on, guys. We have 3 more hours till the meeting.
Guys, we got through this meeting really fast, so.
Well, all I gotta say is with parking is that whoever's gonna do parking, I appreciate your help, but I know it's gonna be boring. Because you gotta stand there and either you're directing or you're lining bikes up or whatever, but you're the crucial part of the ride, because that's where the main organization of everything is. You need to stay where you are. You can't decide that, all right, this is too boring, or this sucks, I'm gonna go walk over there. You can't do that, because once you leave a gap, that's it, the whole thing falls apart.
And you're gonna look really cool in the neon vest. Though.
I'm not wearing a neon vest.
All right. That's it.
What else?
That's all she wrote.